Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you for this uh, best and worst songs of March 2025 video that is premiering tonight. I hope you guys will enjoy this premiere video tonight. That's going to be out at midnight or sometime around then. So, pretty much, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for the best and worst songs of March 2025 for this month and let you know my thoughts on each section overall. So let's dive into the best section first, which is starting at number 19 for the best songs. Grey Days, Still Screaming. Now this was a strong track for sure. I really liked the new vocalist's vocals. Overall, I kind of forgot his name to be honest, because I know I followed them in January. Fake Little Lies, and it was a strong track too. It was quite a return to form. I think the lead singer definitely paid homage to the Chester Bennington era of Grey Days and um, showed a lot of love for the songs that he was performing, pretty much. So, pretty much, Grey Days Still Screaming is a strong track, and I'm glad they're back as a band again. And this is a 5 out of 5. I think they're going to be having an album coming out later this year or in 2026. But overall, great track. Number 18 is As It Is with Cheap Shots and Setbacks, featuring Mallory Knox and Rome. Pretty strong track too. Not one of my favorites of the month, but it is in the best section of the month because it was deemed to be in the best section of this list because it was a pretty good song in its own way. I think execution-wise, Patty Walters' singing vocals sound pretty strong, and Mallory Knox did pretty well with his singing and performance overall with his vocals. And Rome did alright with his moment when he came in near the end of the track. So, overall, pretty good song in its own way. It plays it safe. It's going to be on the Never Happy Ever After 10th anniversary edition. The 10th anniversary album for that album that came out in 2015. That's dropping April 18th to commemorate the 10 years of it being out. So they're celebrating 10 years of it being out. But other than that, that was my number 18 pick. Number 17 is House of Protection with Fire. Pretty strong track for sure. It's going to be on their upcoming record, Outrun You All. I believe part 1 or volume 1. I think it's Outrun You All, volume 1. It's, I think, an extended play, honestly. I don't even if it was an album, it'd be a very short record. Because it's only like consisting of 7 or 8 tracks on the record. And that's not even a lot. I thought it was going to be an actual album, like 12 tracks or so. But overall, Fire was pretty good in its own way, but it wasn't one of my favorite songs of the month. But it still was a strong track in its own way. So, I'm actually digging the House of Protection songs overall as singles. So, really digging what they're going for with that. So, great track in its own way, but I have my critiques with it. Number 16 is Kitty Diamante, Pretty Wild, and Aaron Gilhewis with the Unforgiven Metallica cover. This cover track was pretty good in its own way, but it wasn't one of my favorite songs of the month, but it still made it in the best section because it did sound nice for the vocals overall from Kitty and Diamante. Diamante sounded pretty good with her vocals. So, but overall, it still was a strong track for what it went for. Nice melodic track for only 6 minutes of a song, but it still performed alright for what it was going for. Number 15 is Bella Poarch with Will You Always Love Her. pretty good song in its own way too. Very melodic for the most part. Video's kind of disturbing and an oddball. But overall, from what I listened to with this track, I think Bella Poarch had some good vocals for the most part, and execution-wise, she made it work with this song, so it sunk in pretty well. So sorry, I was cracking my knuckle for a second. It needed cracking. It needed a little pop in my knuckles. So basically, Will You Always Love Her by Bella Poarch is a 4.75 out of 5 still, but it's still a strong track in its own way. Number 14 is Gemini Syndrome with 2B1. A pretty good track. I really enjoyed this one, but it wasn't one of my favorite songs of March of 2025, but it was nice and melodic and a good hard rock kind of track that I could really get on board with. And the lead singer's vocals sound very strong in this track. And execution-wise, it did pretty well. Excuse my yawning. I'm probably going to be crashing pretty soon, because I know it's like not even 10 p.m. yet at my time doing this recording video, but I'm still very tired. It's just been a rainy day most of the day, and it's just drained me for most of the day. But other than that, Gemini Syndrome 2B1 at number 14. Strong track in its own way. Number 13 is Chevelle with Rabbit Hole, Cowards Part 1. Pretty good song. It wasn't one of my favorite songs of this month, but it was a strong track for what it was offering. So I really dug this track for how it sounded. Sorry, my cat was wanting attention. Is wanting attention, actually. I think Pete's vocals in this track sound pretty good. It sounds like some vibes from Hats Off to the Bowl, and pretty much the Hats Off to the Bowl era. I did do a track review for excuse my yawning. I did do a track review to continue where I left off for Chevelle's new track, Rabbit Hole Cowards Part 1. I was starting to forget the track's name. Sorry about the scratching. My cat is using his scratching post. But overall, Rabbit Hole Cowards Part 1 is a strong track, and it had to make it in the best section of the best and worst songs of March 2025. Number 12 is Evanescence with Afterlife. A pretty strong track for sure. I really dug this one. And I really dug how Amy Lee's vocals sounded in this. I mean, it started off slow, but it did progress and get a lot better. And that's what I really appreciated about the track, that it wasn't afraid to try something different. Even if the production was a little weird at the beginning, it still progressed and came off pretty strong in the chorus. And that was the highlight of the track. So pretty much that was my number 12 pick. Number 11 is Sleep Token with Emergence. Great track for sure. I really like Vessel's vocals, and his rapping style is pretty strong. I wish this could have been in the top 10, but it wasn't worthy of the top 10, unfortunately. But it came close. There were some other tracks that I deemed to be in the top 10, and give me a second, I gotta pause the video. Sorry guys, I had to pause the video. My mom was summoning me for a second. She wanted me to see something on TV or whatever. But other than that, Sleep Token Emergence was a strong, epic track that's going to be on their upcoming record. Something about Arcadia or whatever. But I have to go look into it. Again, the album's name, but it comes out May 9th. But overall, I think Sleep Token Emergence was a very hyped up track that I personally dug and enjoyed. And now we're getting to the top 10, which at number 10 is Corey Taylor, Dust in the Wind featuring Bad Omens, the Kansas cover. Really strong track, from what I listened to. So I really enjoyed how this track sounded overall. It was very monotone and mellow and had nice instrumentation in it. And it does pay homage to the original track and all that. So that's what I appreciate about this track. That it's not afraid to try something different. Um, sorry, my cat didn't know. I didn't know what he was gonna be doing. But overall, even pretty much the vocals from Noah Sebastian and Corey Taylor sounded really good in this track, and it worked for the most part. Very ominous track, and it does come off very odd, and kind of creepy at first, but you get used to the track after repeated listens. It's a nice song. So that's my number 10 pick. Number 9 is House of Protection again with Afterlife. I know it's a song that came out in kind of mid-February, but I didn't include that on the February listing. But I did enjoy this track for the most part. And it was a strong track for sure. So I think House of Protection is something to be talked about for 2025. They got some pretty strong hits for sure of material. I mean, not the best songs, but still strong tracks for what they go for, except for Fire. That one was pretty good, and that's on my. But I had a few critiques with that one. But overall, Afterlife was my favorite track from them. That's going to be on their Outrun You All Volume 1 EP, I think, or actual album. But overall, that's my number 9 pick. Number 8 is Gemini Syndrome again, with their new song, Carousel. Really strong track for sure. Really enjoyed this song. Sounded really good with the production, the drumming, the guitar work. For 4 minutes and 24 seconds, you're in for quite an interesting hard rock melodic kind of song. And it does work for what it goes for. Even the lead singer did very well with his vocals. Number 7 is Volumes with Sidewinder. Really strong track from what I listened to. The first single in like almost 3.5 years since Volumes have not dropped music since 2021, 2022. They did like a Bended EP or whatever, extended play, but that doesn't necessarily count because it was from the Happier album overall. But overall, I think Volume's Sidewinder is a strong metalcore gent kind of song that I personally enjoyed, and I could really get invested in this track, and I really thought it was a banger. So that was my number 7 pick. Number 6 is Bury Tomorrow with Waiting. Strong track for sure. I really enjoyed the execution of this track, and overall the vocals from the lead singer, I think his name's Daniel or whatever, but it sounded really strong with the unclean vocals and the screaming vocals. So this was probably my favorite track as a 4th single, and it's going to be on their new album, Will You Haunt Me with That Same Patience, dropping May 16th. So coming up pretty soon, the album's going to be dropping. But overall, Bury Tomorrow did drop a pretty strong single this month, and Waiting was that strong single. So that was my number 6 pick. I wish it could have been in the top 5, but I don't think it was worthy enough for the last 5 tracks I'm going to be mentioning for the best section. And now at number 5, down to the top 5, Wolves at the Gate with Synthetic Sun, a strong single that just recently came out this past Friday, March 28th, and it was a strong track for sure. I know they dropped Parasite 3 weeks prior from this single coming out, but it was a pretty good track. I really enjoyed the vocals from the screaming vocalist, the backing vocals from the clean vocalist sounded really strong in this when the chorus kicked in. And execution-wise, this track did rock, for sure. So that was my number 5 pick. Excuse my hiccuping. Number 4 is Wolves at the Gate again with Parasite. Now, this was probably my personal favorite single as the lead single for their upcoming record, Wasteland, dropping May 30th, along with Synthetic Sun, going to be on that record too. And it was a pretty strong track too. The screaming vocals were outstanding in this track, and I really dug how it sounded, execution-wise, with the guitar work and the drumming. So, pretty strong track, and I definitely would recommend this to anyone that wants to listen to Wolves at the Gate. They're a Christian metalcore band, but they do sound good with what they go for. So 5 out of 5 for this track, and is my number 4 pick. Number 3 is Youngblood with Hello Heaven Hello. Now, I wish this could have been at number 1 this month, but it unfortunately didn't make the cut because there were some other tracks I deemed to be the last 3 runner-up tracks for this month's best songs. And this wasn't the runner-up, but it was in 3rd place of getting close to being runner-up. But overall, it did do pretty well for the most part. This track, Youngblood, did sound really good with his vocals. Dom's vocals sounded really strong in this track. That's his real name, of course. But I think this was a great 9-minute and 6-second track, which has 3 sections and 3 parts in the track. The hello part being the first part, the heaven part, and then the acoustic outro, which is hello again, that ends off the song, and it does pretty well. It's going to be on an upcoming record that Youngblood's going to be dropping sometime this year, but can't wait to see what the future holds for him, because this was a strong single, and it made it at my number 3 this month. Alright, now for the runner-up, which is number 2, Hot Milk with 90 Seconds to Midnight. This was a strong track for sure. I was really enjoying the lead vocalist's singing overall, and execution-wise, the backing vocalist sounded pretty good. The track was a little politicized, but it did have a lot of strong meaning and strong lyricism. Definite banger for sure for 2 minutes and some seconds. I think 2 minutes and 30-something seconds. But overall, it was quite a catchy track, and I really dug this track. The Come Friendly Bombs was my favorite part in the track, and the screaming vocals were great from the backing vocalist. So, great track, definitely catchy, something to jam out to, and made it at the runner-up as for the best songs of 2025 for the month of March 2025, and it was at number 2. And finally, at number 1, drum roll please, Linkin Park with Up From the Bottom. This was my personal favorite track this month. Linkin Park did it again with another great single. I know a lot of people are saying this track is not one of their favorites, but I disagree, honestly, but that's just my opinion. Overall, I think Linkin Park pulled off a great track this month. I mean, it could have been copy-paste, but they still made it work, this track. This was a very hyped-up song. I downloaded it on March 14th, but I basically got to listen to it 2 weeks in advance, but I wanted to wait till the 27th to get that review out for the morning time, but I hope you guys did enjoy that Linkin Park Up From the Bottom quick track review, because this was one of my favorite songs of the month, and was the best song of March 2025, in my opinion. Even though it came out at the end of the month, still made it as the best song of the month. So congratulations, Linkin Park, again for striking gold for another best song of 2025 for the month of 2025 for March. So they made it at my number 1, and at least Hot Milk made it as the runner-up, but still did pretty well. This track did very well with Emily Armstrong's vocals, and Mike Shinoda rapping in some sections of the track. This made it feel like a fresh new track, and it's going to be on an upcoming deluxe edition of From Zero, dropping May 16th. I believe I already got that pre-ordered, but other than that, still a great track, and it made it at my number 1. And that was Linkin Park Up From the Bottom. Alright, now we're going to talk about the worst songs of this month. Starting with Thornhill Silver Swarm. I know this was a song that came out in January, but I didn't include that in the February list because I completely forgot about this track. I was like, oh shit, this was supposed to be added to the February. So I decided, you know what? Why not add it to the March section? And I did. And this song sucked. This song was disappointing. It wasn't one of the worst tracks of the month, but it wasn't the best song of the month. It was a disappointment. Jacob's vocals sound really distorted and not too great, and they just don't mesh well with the track. I mean, it tries, but it just fails and flops. So it's a flop, this track, and it sucked. Number 4 is MGK with Your Name Forever. This track was meant to be a memorial track for someone that passed away, which I'm sorry that happened to him, but I'm not sorry that this song sucked ass and had rapping and pop punk and punk rock kind of vibes to it. This track really did suck ass. It was just not something I was really wanting to listen to again. When I heard his vocals, I was like, garbage. This song was garbage, honestly, and it can go fuck itself, honestly. I am not trying to be disrespectful to the meaning behind the song. I just think his vocals made it not work. So, MGK, please stop singing. Please quit. Quit as a music artist, a rap artist, because you're not doing it for me. This song is not doing it for me. And I know it's a memorial track to grieve over the loss of a friend that passed away. And I'm sorry that happened to him. But I'm not sorry, like I said, that the song sucked. Big time. So, a flop. It wasn't the worst track of the month, but it wasn't the best song of the month. So, number 3 is Thornhill with Tongues, an actual official track that came out in March that sucked big time. The screaming vocals from Jacob don't work for this track. And just the way the song comes off, it's just some emo metalcore that does not fuse very well. And they make the production sound so crappy that I cannot get on board with this song. So Thornhill is probably one of my worst metalcore bands. Worst emo metalcore band that I cannot get into. And they suck ass, for sure. So they suck as a band. That's the God's honest truth. And I am not sugarcoating anything. I'm just telling it like it is. Because I do not like Thornhill. And anyone that says that I'm a hater because I don't like Thornhill, I'm like, whatever. That's your opinion too. You're entitled to it, but honestly, the songs they make kind of suck. So, this track can go fuck itself. For sure. So, that's my number 3 pick. And now, at number 2 is Spiritbox with Crystal Roses. What the fuck were they thinking of this track? This track sucked. Big time. I mean, Courtney LaPlante has great vocals. Don't get me wrong. But the production and the electronic auto-tune vocals sound so bad that it's a head shaker, this track. It's like, what the fuck were they thinking with this song? I know they were trying to experiment on the new record, and that was fine. Everything else sounded good from Tsunami Sea, except for this track. This track sucked. Big time. It is one of the worst tracks on the record. It's not a good song. is a bad song and made this track not work. Like, the production and the mixing was so terrible that I just got annoyed with the bridge part of the track, the heater part from this track, and it didn't mesh well with the production. The production was pretty bad on this song, so this is one of Spiritbox's worst songs and worst single that was for this upcoming record, Tsunami Sea. So, fuck this song. I think Spiritbox didn't know what they were trying to do, and I know they were trying to do something to make it sound very experimental with this track. The vibe was cool with the track. The problem was the auto-tune electronic vocals. It does not work for this song. It sounds really corny and cringy. And finally, at number 1 is Tom MacDonald, Can't Cancel All of Us. This is one of his worst songs to date. Another bad track of the month. And one of the worst songs of March 2025. It came out this past Friday. Can't Cancel All of Us. It's like, Tom MacDonald, just fucking quit your music career. You're a terrible artist. You suck ass. And you spew off a lot of conservative, right-wing agenda. It's like, who fucking cares what you think? Like, nobody fucking cares about you. You're the biggest bitch out there that exists in the real world. So, fuck you, Tom MacDonald. Your music sucks. And you suck as a person. So, honestly, you hang around with Rosie O'Donnell. Or not Rosie O'Donnell. Roseanne Barr is what I meant to say. Yeah, Roseanne Barr is a bitch, too. She can go fuck herself, too. That song they made back in January was terrible. And I really hated it so much. Daddy's Home. It was like spewing off the conservative agenda. Whoopee. It's like, I don't fucking care. But honestly, sorry about the dinging. That's my dryer going off. If you're hearing that buzzing noise. So it does make that loud noise. But other than that, Tom MacDonald, Can't Cancel All of Us is the worst track of March 2025. Fuck this garbage ass track. It can go straight down the toilet drain and never see the light of day again. That's going to be it for the best and worst songs of March 2025. I hope you enjoyed this almost 30-minute video. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. And with that being said, you guys have a good rest of your night. And thanks for watching this best and worst songs of March 2025 video.